Do you feel the love of beautiful things? Well, out here at Roberts Bushcraft, we do. It's about 42 outside right now.
40, 42.
Well, actually, when we got here, the truck was reading 38, so it might still be about that. Anyways, needless to say, it's a pretty chilly day, and it's one of those days where the weather is a little annoying. We love rain, we love the cold, but what we do love as well is some snow. And to know that we're that close to snow is a little annoying for us North Carolinians. But needless to say, we're gonna have a great day out here at the river. Actually gonna go down by the riverside, get a fire going, maybe some hot chocolate, some beautiful Fiesta beans, kind of a
wonderful.
Just a wonderful meal, all kinds of nice spices in it. Dad is gonna explain to you why he likes Generation 1 Gore-Tex over Generation 2. You would think that with each generation you would like it more and more, but Dad has some very specific reasons why he enjoys the Generation 1 Parka over the Generation 2. So stay tuned, and we'll get into that discussion here in just a little bit. Let's hit the trail.
Walking sticks.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if we didn't have these walking sticks, it would be a different story out here, big time.
Walking sticks and good boots. I gotta tell you, we're gonna have another video coming up soon on our footwear.
Yep.
These Marine Corps combat boots. I've got the combat hikers on.
It's got that wide base to it.
Wide base.
Really helps grab on these slick surfaces.
Excellent ankle support on these things.
Yes.
And as you guys can see out here, and you may have just heard, Gabriel's the rocks he's standing on or stepped on slid right out from under him. This place is notorious for turning ankles. Old man in his cane out here. Look, I've learned over the years, the only time there's safety and speed is when you're skating over thin ice. Out here, slow down. And another tip, area like this, for us, what we've discovered, if we start sliding on these rocks, we just go straight to our butt. That's where we're trying to sit down, and that slows us down some.
Might do a mountaineering video one day. You got some good tips.
That's on wet wood. So this is a little different way today of having to build this fire. Yeah, everything's wet, and the trick or the problem with starting fires in wet conditions is finding dry tinder. Ideally, you want to bring things out with you. Here we are. Got a fire going. As you can see in the background here. Let's see if I can get you adjusted just a hair. Got a fire going in the background. Now, if you guys know where to look, starting a fire in rainy conditions, it's a challenge in its own. However, if you know where to look, especially on trees, you can get a fire going pretty easily. These cedar trees around here, the way the boughs grow, the limbs grow off the sides of them, that bark is protected from rain, usually on one side of the tree. Now, if it's been raining for a couple of days, chances are bark's going to be saturated all the way around. In this case, We were able to find a drier side of one of these trees, scrape some of the bark off, and that's what we use for tinder down here. Now, so that we don't look like complete tough guys, pick lighter. Anytime you can have instant flame, have instant flame. Use instant flame. So we're going to get some dinner going here in a minute. But the point of today's video is to highlight this Gen 1 extreme cold weather parka. Got this from Double Dog Depot, and it's size large regular. I absolutely love it. Now, I am no stranger to the Gen 1 Gore-Tex Parkas issued by the military. Now, I was in the Marine Corps, and I'll roll in a picture here, or a couple pictures if I can find them, of me wearing Gen 1 Gore-Tex, a jacket exactly like this. Now, what you're going to see in the pictures, that jacket's been around a little while. Colors are faded on it, probably had a rip or tear here and there, but that stuff was great. Love this jacket. Now, we mentioned earlier in the beginning that I prefer the Gen 1 over the Gen 2. And there's a couple different reasons why. The main reason that I prefer the Gen 1 over the Gen 2 is that I'll go ahead and take this jacket off, see it a little better. The Gen 1 jacket has a lining to it. This lining here. And I love that lining. Gen 2 jacket does not have this lining. It's that bare material, and it looks like that. Like that material there. Now, this material is soft, but I don't like the way it feels against my skin. I can't really explain what it feels like. I'm just not smart enough to be able to describe it. But it's almost like it grabs the hair on my arms or something. No, I've just never liked the way that particular piece of material, type of material, feels against my skin. This jacket has that liner, and it prevents contact with my skin. Now, generally, wintertime like this, I'll wear that's an impressive fire you got going there, Blue. Check that out, guys. And that was all started with wet tinder. Wet grass, as you can see around, everything's wet. Wet grass and bark from these trees, and I'll show you where we scraped it here in just a bit. But
while we're on the topic of fire, a very important thing to do in colder weather, or well, not cold weather, but wet weather, is to go ahead and stack a lot of wood on top of your fire. Most likely the wood's wet, so as your fire builds up, it'll dry out and then eventually explode into something you see here. It's
good
really
stuff.
Nice warm fire too.
So back to the parka. The main reason I prefer this one over the there you go. There you can see the material there. I prefer this over the Gen 2 because of this liner right here. I love it. Now this one has the taped seams all the way through the jacket. Anywhere that you see the pieces sewn together, taped seams. The pocket on that arm. Now, even in the military, I never used the pocket here. I suspect it's for the lieutenants going around taking names of lance corporals that are just not having a great day. Another thing that I like about this one over Gen 2 is that the hood is not stowable. This one just sits on your back like a normal jacket. Like that, like so. And as you can see here, it's a generous size hood. And it has this bill here, and it's wonderful for helping deflect rain. Roll rain right off so it's not just falling right on your brow. Now, the Gen 2 Parka has that as well, minus the lining. So the lining is a big deal for me. I don't like the way that the Gore-Tex material feels against my skin. In the wintertime, that's really a non-issue because I always have something on taking the place of this liner. So that would be this brown bear jacket. It would be the old quilted jacket liner from the N65 series, or long sleeve shirt. Summertime, different story. Summertime, we're out here, it's fishing, you know, hiking, doing whatever, and starts to rain on us, and I'm wearing a t-shirt. So I have to take that Gen 2, put that on. Protects me from the rain, yes. But I still have the issue with the way it feels against my skin. The pockets on this one are just a little bit different, and we'll roll in better footage of what I'm showing you right here. The pockets on this one, the Gen 1, come down at that 45-degree angle like that. We're on the Gen 2, it's straight across this way. They both have the snow skirt, which I'm not using right now. Now the snow skirt, for the folks that aren't familiar with snow skirts, simply snap together like so, top and bottom. You can tighten this up tighten this up if you need, tie it. As you can see, where we are here in northeastern North Carolina, there's no snow on the ground, so snow skirt wouldn't help us out too much, except it blocks drafts. So you're not getting that cold blast of air coming up, you know, as you're walking along, wind hits you, etc. You're not getting that cold air being blasted up along your hips, robbing your core of all that heat. So I've heard it called a couple different things, snow skirt, draft collar, but that's what that's for. So we're gonna go ahead and have some lunch now. We'll probably have finish up the review tabletop at home. Before we go, I'm gonna show you my pants. Now, the Gore-Tex, this whole system, it's a fantastic system. These pants, these are Gore-Tex pants. Now these are the Gen 2 pants. It's hard to find the Gen 1s in decent condition. I got these, they were almost like new, well they're pretty much like new. Still have a good DWR coating on there. Water beads up on there very nicely. And they're fantastic. Even to wear these, even when it's not raining outside. Let's say it has rained or it's a early summer morning and you're walking through the woods and tall grass and you're getting your pants wet, legs wet. This is the way to go. I wear these a lot with a poncho because sometimes I do prefer a poncho over these types of jackets. One thing that I did want to highlight for today, I'm not going to put it on today because there's really no need for it right now, but for this jacket I have that fur ruff. Now this lines the hood, really blocks the wind. That's a neat piece of kit. These are cheap too. But today we're just fighting the weather. This is a suit mix we found at Walmart. And we love it. Good stuff. Get good and hydrated. And that goes right along here. Just let that let that heat right on up. We'll be done in no time. getting close to being ready here. Let's see if I can find a decent stick to lift this up with. Because these rings, I tell you what, they get hot. Oh yeah. Here it is. That's that masterpiece for today. We boiled a little more water out of there than what we normally do, but this is fully cooked with every good cup of soup. I forgot my Ritz crackers. Wow, that was going to be a secret weapon today. He didn't know I brought Ritz crackers, and it's a good thing that I did not advertise I brought Ritz crackers because I forgot the Ritz crackers. How did I do that? You ever seen a brand new one? Check this out. This is how it comes out of the package. I'm not exactly sure how you guys are going to be able to see all of this because it's, well, it's a camouflage. I just... Oh, here's a jacket. M81 camouflage. Love the M81 style. Here we are back at the tabletop. We're going to do a quick comparison between the Gen 1 and the Gen 2. At the river just a few moments ago, I mentioned on that video about the different shapes of the pockets. Now on the Gen 1, you'll see that this pocket, the flap is about a 45-degree angle on this panel of the jacket. This is the Gen 1. The Gen 2, this pocket has a flap all the way across the top, much like you would see on the side of your cargo pants. Generous size pocket, and it also has a side pocket. The Gen 1 does not have that. So it's just a pocket here. Opens with this flap like so. As I mentioned, the Gen 1 has an interior lining that I'm very fond of. Here, all through the jacket. The Gen 2 does not have that lining. So I purchased some seam tape on Amazon that was supposed to be Gore seam tape. Kind of a rip off there. But it went on. And it's held over the years, but you can see where it's starting to lift and separate. Here's some of the original. And, well, you can see there, starting to lift and separate. And this is just going to happen to these jackets over time. But, that said, this is the interior of this jacket. There is no lining in this jacket. This is the material that I just don't like the way it feels on my skin. On the Gen 1 jacket, here, there is one arm pocket, and that's on the left arm. The Gen 2 has one of those pockets on each arm. There's one there, and here's the other here. So you've got two of those pockets. So you can take all kinds of names. Write them down on your Write in the Rain notebook. One thing I never liked about this Gen 2, and the Gen 1 may be the same way, I just don't see it because of that lining, but the way the Napoleon pockets are constructed, pretty much the same on both. as far as getting in those pockets. Secure with Velcro. This one is bigger, has a bigger opening here, and that's on the Gen 1. Much larger area there. Gen 2, not quite as robust, not quite as large of an area, but I've never really liked the way that these were attached to the jacket. You can see here, this is part of that old seam tape, old Gore seam. So these tabs, so let's see, right, that thread right there. Beneath that thread is a piece of Gore-Tex seam tape. And it was like that on that edge there. And of course it's sewn in here. But that's what keeps this pocket from flapping around inside the jacket. Just these little weak pieces of seam tape sewn or actually hot seamed down to the material. Never really liked that. That's a generous size pocket. Probably the same size on the Gen 1. And again, can't see it because we have the lining here. Another major difference, and I mentioned this earlier, is the hood. Now again, you just have to kind of look past the seam tape job. When I tried to buy the seam tape, I wanted to get the black version of this seam tape. They didn't have it, so all I had the choice to get for several months was this kind of grayish color. So did the job. Now this hood, it has a bill, much like the bill on the Gen 1. And you'll notice that the Gen 1 has this collar here that goes all the way around the hood. And that is designed to accept the fur ruff that you can buy separately and attach to this hood. Gen 2 does not have that. Now there is a kit that you can buy for the Gen 2 to be able to use that fur ruff with this one. But out of the as manufactured, it does not have that. Now again, this hood can be stowed down into the collar. Like so. Secured with the Velcro on the back. And now that hood is inside the collar of the jacket. Gen 1, you're stuck with that hood deployed. Now you can roll this up and kind of tuck it on the inside of your collar between your neck and that jacket. I've done it before with the old Gen 1 that I was issued in the Marines. YKK zippers. That's the main zipper. This is a two-way zipper. Now this, it's not a match. What this is a stylus for the smartphone. That way when I have gloves on and I want to record video or use the phone, I don't have to take the gloves off and just use that. YKK zippers. Now YKK zippers are also present on the pit zips. That is for ventilation. It's a wonderful jacket. Really love these. Let's get a look at the data plate here. ECWCS Incorporated. Mentioned earlier at the river, one of the liners that I use inside this jacket, and it's rather popular to go with this kind of jacket, or just even under your M65 field jackets, or these M65 field jacket liners. Now I've kind of modified mine with pockets that go along the chest, well actually along the kind of stomach area here on both left and right side. And maybe I can get a better picture of that. But I've got a pocket here and then in the top. Comes in pretty handy, pretty comfortable, adds a little extra warmth. I also have the M65 pants. You hear them talked about a lot, but you don't see them very often. But these are the liner pants. Good stuff. I'm going to briefly mention some of the highlights of this Gore-Tex jacket. Now this Gen 1 is, it's all over YouTube. There are plenty of videos out there on it. And there's really not a whole lot that I can say that has not already been said. But we'll just kind of hit the highlights here. With the YKK zippers, you have Napoleon pockets on both sides, both breasts, left and right side. This is your insignia flap, or your rank flap. So whatever rank you would have in the military, you would put that on here. And it's secured by that button there. The cuffs here on the arms, around the wrists, tightened by hook and loop tape. Closer look at the hood. It can be tightened, cinched down around your face using these cords, held in place with these barrel locks. This is a wonderful jacket. Again, the highlights that I've talked about and the reason why I prefer this over the Gen 2, pretty self-explanatory, and it's really personal preference. You've got Gen 2, you've got Gen 3. They're all great pieces of gear, but this is my jacket of preference. Gen 1, really solely because of the liner. So let's head back out to the river. Have some hot chocolate. Do the old water temperature test here. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. You can definitely see some steam coming off of that. Alright, that's all of that. Go ahead and mix up, Gary. I can actually see some of bubbles starting to boil there. So. Yep. So mine is beyond warm. have your spoon. You can just use yours on it. You just. All right, what do you think?
All right, let's give it a try. That's perfect.
Sometimes it's hard to beat just plain old hot chocolate.
You know, you go to the high school football games. I don't know if high schools that you've been to do this, but at least ours. When you order hot chocolate, you know, you go up to the concession stand, buy hot chocolate. It is like so hot that all your taste buds just like get disintegrated. Well, that's about how hot this is. This is just, it's perfect for today, really. But it's
yeah, who needs taste buds today?
on the warm side.
We've already eaten today.
Yeah, that's right.
You may have noticed these on our way in. These are the extreme cold weather Gore-Tex gloves that were issued. Well, actually, I'm not sure if they're actually issued or not. I think they were in experimental phase. Never really made it out much into the fleet. But these are the Gore-Tex extreme cold weather gloves. They go along with the extreme cold weather system. There is a big love-hate relationship with these gloves. Now on the inside you can see Gore-Tex lining, and then the insulation of the glove actually kind of feels like looks like a fleece, and of course there's a little insulating material there. The problem with the gloves is every time, the way they're constructed, the fingertips are glued. Well, the fingertips to the inner liner are glued to the fingertips of these gloves. Over the years, the glue has deteriorated. So every time you pull your hand out of this glove, the inner glove comes out with it. So it basically turns itself inside out. And it is a pain to get that back in, to get the fingers back into the lining sections, and it's just, I don't know. It's a love-hate thing with those. Now Gabriel took his liner and cut out the actual insulating glove and just uses this as a shell, much like you see here.
So what I'll do is I'll wear something like, now this is not a waterproof glove, so really this doesn't work out for a day like today. I need a good waterproof glove like the Poseidon's, or you know, some an intermediate kind of glove. But what I'm actually doing, so for example here, what I would do if I was trying to stay waterproof while wearing this gear, I would have the Poseidon on, which is providing me with my waterproof and a little bit of well, actually quite a bit of insulation there.
Those are these Outdoor Research Poseidons, waterproof and windproof.
So then what I would do is add these shells on the outside of these. Since these are a nice pair of gloves, this isn't a pair that you want to get messed up, especially like we were doing today, you know, gathering firewood, stuff like that. I would add this shell on the outside, and this would be simply as like an abrasion resistance. I would much rather tear up this nylon shell than tear up something like the Poseidon glove underneath. So you add this on top. Now you've still got waterproof glove, a warm glove, but a nice glove on the inside that's not going to get all scratched up. You know, and then eventually tear the coating off, and
that's right.
You know, tear the shell off and all that mess. Don't want to do that. So
when we picked these up local surplus, we wanted to love those gloves, and we did while we were in the store.
Yes.
Wasn't long after using them, and when I say not long, I mean really within the same day.
Actually, I think I cut mine out the same night.
Yeah,
you can see.
It sure did.
I cut it out.
Cut it right on out. And that's really the smartest thing to do with these.
Buy a good waterproof glove,
yeah,
and then use this as a shell so you don't tear your nice gloves up. That's my best recommendation for them. You know, honestly, or if you can find some way to keep the liner in there, better. But
But then you
I
have
don't
to deconstruct the glove and sew it back and so on and so forth. And in my opinion,
Waterproof, windproof.
right.
Perfect.
In my opinion, these just aren't worth the effort to do that with.
Nope.
So it's cool to say we have it, but well, we think it's about that time to head out. We've come out and had our lunch. We want to get back out to the river and just have a nice, easy day. It's one of those days where we love this kind of weather. It's a bit annoying because it's not snowing. It's not cold enough to snow. Definitely not warm enough to go in shorts. So that's going to conclude my review on this Gore-Tex Gen 1 jacket. Now you know why I prefer this one over Gen 2. Liner, non-stowable hood, it's good to go. I want to thank Devil Dog Depot for sending this out to me. I've always wanted a brand new Gore-Tex jacket. Never have had the chance to get one. Now I've got one. They've also given us a 10% off discount code that you guys can use at their website. Good for any purchase. 10% off. Code's going to be down in the description box below, along with a link to their website. Again, we want to thank Devil Dog Depot for sending this out to us. We've got some other things that we picked up from them that we're going to be doing some reviews on, kind of some show and tells here and there. And I want to thank you guys for watching.
Well, folks, thank you for stopping in and watching Dad's review on the Gen 1 Parka from the United States Marine Corps. Absolutely beautiful piece of kit. Keep you dry and keep you warm. Hope you have a great day wherever you are. Big thanks again to Devil Dog Depot. Make sure to check them out in the description box down below. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. God bless.